Hey guys, I'm back and I want to have a little discussion, and today we're going to talk about the depression when you're 23 to 25. Let me turn off my fan. So I feel like a lot of people don't talk about the depression that most people feel when they're 23 to like 25, maybe even 26. That depression right there is crippling. It's sickening. It makes you feel like you just hate life. You just hate everything about yourself. Like, I remember being 23. I want to say, I want to say my depression started when I was 23. I wouldn't get out of bed. I wouldn't clean. I would be so depressed I would cry every single day and have no idea why I'm crying. I remember I would be at a light and I just started bursting out crying, and I never knew why I'm crying. Why are you crying? And I feel like 23 is like the age where you realize, like, oh, life is for real. Like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Like, I feel like when you're 23, you already have your life planned out. You know what you want in life. Like, you know where you're going. And you start to see that life, doesn't always work out how you plan it. And I believe that it puts you like in a state of depression. And nobody talks about this depression. Like, I know I'm not the only one who notices that when you're 23 until you're like 25, you're just so depressed, and you go through, at that time, I think that's when you go through like your crappy relationship, and you're learning who you are, you're learning life, and you're understanding that life is not everything that you thought it would be. So and if you're 23, 24, whatever age you are now, and you're going through that depression, just be strong and understand that you're going to come out of it. And it's just an awkward time in everybody's life when they're this age, because they think that they should be further. And especially in this time when you see people, like 7-year-olds starting their business, but you still haven't started your business. You still working like a 9 to 5 and all this other stuff. And you see people, just getting rich everywhere. Like, it's not an easy thing, and it can put you into a depression. It makes you feel like you're just not doing enough. And that, I feel like, and then like when you're 23 and you're 24, like your body changes. And I feel like that also puts you in a depression. You start to notice things that you weren't noticing before, because, like before you just were living life, you thought that life would be, oh, when I leave here, I'm going to have so much money. I'm going to give me a good job, Ooh, life is life. You know what I'm saying, at that time. And it's just like such an awkward time. But please be strong and understand that you're not the only one who goes through that, and that you're not alone. And it may feel like you're alone. Like, I remember just feeling like I just hated myself every day. Like, I would look in the mirror. Yes, I knew, like, I wasn't an ugly duckling and a lot of people wanted me, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many hoes you got. It doesn't matter who's around you. If you're not happy, nothing's going to work out. Like, nothing will satisfy you. Nothing will make you happy. And at that time, like, I feel like you cope in strange ways. Maybe you cope by eating or drinking, or you're always out. Like me, I would go out literally from the time I got off at 6 o'clock, and then I would go to work at 6 a.m. the next day. But from the time I got off at 6 o'clock until I went to work, I was outside drinking, every single day. Like, I was just so depressed, and I would go from like job to job to job. Like, it's not what I wanted. And like, at that time, I feel like you're just like, why am I so upset? Like, why is this happening? It's because you're not happy with, your circumstances. It's not how you planned it in your life. How you planned it out to be, and that's okay. And like, I would just like, I had a roommate at the time, and I'd be like, oh, I'm just on suspension from work. But really, I just didn't go to work because I wanted to lay in bed and cry all day. Literally cry all day. And I remember like, and then like, especially like at that time when you're in a relationship, like you give that person like your all when you're like 23 to like 25, like they become like your whole aura. And at this time I was dating someone, and I think they broke up with me one day and I was at work. Like, I literally went to lunch and never came back because I cried all damn day long that day. And then it's like, oh man, I gotta hustle because I gotta pay these bills, so I need to get another job. Like, it's just a cycle that I haven't went through. And honestly, I'm thankful for that depression because I understand how beautiful life is now and how I can't just make impulsive decisions just because I'm going through a bad moment. Like, I feel like if you're 23, 25 right now, you're still navigating life and there's no book to life, and we are growing up in a strange time and a strange era, and that's okay. But that depression is crippling. And I feel like people need to understand, like when they say, oh, I just have depression, this, that, and the third, like, yes, I take depression very seriously because I went through it. But at the end of the day, please understand that you're young and depression sucks. But at the end of the day, you will get through it, and just stay strong, remain strong. And try not to blame everything on your childhood. Like, no matter how bad it is, like there comes a point where you have to be like, okay, that happened to me, I have to do better, and I forgive whatever happened to me. It's easier said than done, but honestly, it'll heal you so much more. And I remember one day, like after I went through the toxic relationship and I was so depressed, I was like, something has to give. Something has to give, you know? And I was like, I have to change my life. But hold on, wait, let me go back. Like, I was to the point where I didn't want to live anymore. And I remember the day I already had my gun. I remember the day I was like, you know what? I'm done with life. Like, this sucks. I hate everything about myself. I hate every single thing. Like, I used to have extreme social anxiety. I wouldn't even go into a store. I would just be like crying all day long by myself, all day long crying. So one day when I was gonna do it, my sister just popped up, and I just was like, okay. And I started talking to her, and when I was talking to her, I just was crying. She was like, you know, you love life. Don't say that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then like later on after she left, I was like, you know what, something has to give. I got to change myself. Like, God's not going to come down here and do it for me. I need to put in effort for my own life. So I started to heal myself. I read some books. I just started to be kinder to myself, to the people around me, everybody. And I understood that I don't want to be a girl who gives her body away to everybody and all this other stuff. I stopped having sex for a whole year, and I just focused on myself. And it was literally the best decision that I ever made. Like, I am not the person I used to be. Like, I've had a job for so long, and I'm in the middle of running my own business. So yeah, like everything just comes to you when you're ready for it. And understand that when you're going through a bad time, it gets worse before it gets better. Like, that is the most truest like statement, saying, or whatever I've ever heard. It gets worse before it gets better, because baby, it does. And I can't wait to move soon and be on my own and finally be who I want to be. And it's all coming. And I waited so long for this. And now the time is here, and your time is coming as well. So, and like when I go back to like my old YouTube channel, and yes, I started to make YouTube videos after I went through my depression. And honestly, that made me feel better. I was a whole other person. And not easy, you know what I mean, to make that decision like, oh, I need to change, because you just feel like, how, you know, you don't have the circumstances, like, what can I do, you know? And like, especially like, you have to cut out the excuses when you go through this depression. You have to stop saying I can't, and I don't have what they have, or I don't have this, I don't have support. Baby, when I say like I have family all around me and I love them so very much, at the time they were healing as well, and I didn't have support either. So don't, you know, when you're going through a healing, sometimes I truly don't believe that you need the support. I feel like sometimes when you're going through stuff alone, it just fuels you to like prove everybody wrong and to do better in life. You know, like I use my bad circumstances as a way of strength. Like, you know, okay, I don't have that, I'm about to go get it. You know, like, sorry. And like most people think like, oh, I don't, she's talking about some reading affirmations and this, that, and the third. No cap, that should help me out so much. Like every single day I say my affirmations, like I'm beautiful, I'm kind, and you know, maybe to you I might not be the most beautiful woman on earth, but baby, I'm obsessed with me. Like I love myself so much. Like I just think I'm just the most beautiful thing on earth, and I wish everybody felt that way about themselves. And when I was younger, like I used to be so fat, and everybody would be like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna tell y'all a story. One time at the playground, this girl, I did not like her till this day, but whatever. Anyway, one day they was like, oh, you know, Lee has boobs and all this other stuff, and the girl was like, oh, she just has boobs because that's fat. She's fat, so her boobs are fat. And I used to be like, you busted asshole, you know. But anyway, that, you know what I'm saying, like, and I used to be bullied. Like I used to wear a jacket even in the summertime because people would say, oh, you're just so fat, you know. Like that's not, maybe not what they used to say to me all the time, but you know, it just made me feel like I just was disgusting. And I remember my sisters tore my jacket that I used to wear every day. And after that, it was all bad. But especially if you're getting bullied, just know like everything's about to work out. You might be, you know, not the baddest in the room or whatever, but please always feel like you're the baddest in the room, because eventually you will be. When you start to feel like that, you become that, and that's just what that's going to be. But all I'm just trying to say is, if you're 23 or even not, even if you're just going through any type of depression, understand that you are not alone, and please understand that it's not forever that you're going to go through this tough time. It's just for right now. And nobody talks about that awkward stage of when you think that you're going to marry this person or be with this person forever. And you know what I mean? Like nobody talks about the weight of a relationship when you're that age, the weight of life at that age, the weight of yourself at that age, your mental health, you know, especially the mental health. When I say that the mental health is effed up at that age, it is effed up. I don't know what it is, but I just pray to God I will never feel that way. And I never want anybody to feel that way or me to feel that way. And please understand that if you're attached to anything, let it go. I don't believe that you should be attached to anything that can break you. Like, even if I was married to somebody, and yes, I might love you and everything, but I'll never be attached to you to the point where I'll let you disrespect me in any type of way or play me in any type of way. Like, please, if you have that attachment, let it go. And when you don't have that attachment to something, I feel like you get more of it. Like, they just love you so much more, and you get more love put all around you. You know, so many people, especially on social media make it seem like, oh, you need to be up under your man, up under your woman, like all up in his face, all up in his business 24/7. Like, no, you don't have to be. Like, you should never be that attached to somebody to where you feel like, are they cheating every second? What are they doing? No, you need to make sure that you're in a place that you can be happy, that you can grow, that you can live life, and live life with somebody, not live stress with somebody. Like, that is one of the things that 23 to 25 you have to understand, because you're just so in love with that person that if they leave you, you might, like, you know, wanna. But don't do that, man. Like, seriously, back off. If you still want to be with that person, be with that person. But please work on yourself to where you'll be so much stronger. Like, that you don't care if they did you wrong and you got to leave. You know what I mean? Like, you have to love yourself so much. Like, it's sickening how much you love yourself. Like, that's how much you need to love yourself. And when you're like 23 to 25 or whatever, there's like this lack of self-love. Like, you just do stuff that, I don't even know. You just do stuff just from out of lack of self-love. And people don't even notice that, like, when it's happening. Of course, nobody's gonna be like, oh, I did that because I was lacking self-love at the moment. You know, eventually later when you look back and you see your growth and, you know what I mean, eventually you'll be like, oh, okay, I needed to love myself a little bit more. And especially you'll realize that when you look back at the men or the women that you were dating, like, I was messing with them. Like, that's bad, real bad. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I'll be looking back and I'm like, how? Ew. Ew. Ugh. And they still be trying me, like, ew. You could never even get next to me to talk to me or nothing other than, oh, okay, have a great day. Like, don't you ever think this is happening again. Like, oh, like, ugh. Anyway, just know that you'll look back and be like, okay, it just was a lesson, something to build me, you know, even though I'd be like, yuck to those people, but honestly, I feel so much better, and like, it just was something that I had to go through, you know what I'm saying, to better myself, to make me, you know, understand that I needed to love myself a little bit more, and instead of dating the men that I used to date, like, no, But anyway, like I'm saying, if you're going through that depression as of right now, please understand that you are not alone, and please understand to give yourself a chance. Give life a chance. You may have a plan, but God has his own plans, and everything gets worse before it gets better. And please understand that your time is coming. I cannot stress that enough. Please read self-help books. Please do stuff that make you feel like you're healing yourself. Like, I feel like so many people be like, oh, she's just spiritual, or telling me to do this. Like, I'm not even telling you to do anything. I'm just saying, do things that make you feel good. Go for a walk. Go to the gym if that makes you feel good. Notice what makes you feel good. Like, even me, like, sometimes I want to go to the gym, but I don't. But I know that when I go to the gym, I feel so good. You know, like, try to push yourself until you get to where you want to be in life, and understand that every day is just a step in the right direction. Even if you clean your room right now after you've been depressed and you haven't been cleaning, you know what I'm saying? It's like a little steps. So please do not let that depression eat you up, and understand that when you're this age, you go through an awkward time, and depression is something that I don't wish on my worst enemy, but please understand that everybody will get through it eventually. Just please give life a chance. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say, and I hope everybody got something from it, and if you didn't, well, watch it again, maybe you will. But okay, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.